The morning sun poured through the curtains like a blessing, golden and soft. You stood at the doorway, one hand resting gently on your swollen belly. It was your ninth month, just a couple of weeks away from meeting the little soul growing inside you. Your brother and sister in law were packing their bags. Their voices were light and hurried. Are you sure you'll be alright? Your brother asked, glancing over with concern as he zipped up his overnight duffel. You smile faintly, nodding. I'll be fine. It's just 2 days. Lily and I will keep with each other company. Plus, June will have someone to play with. At the sound of her name, your 5-year-old daughter bounced in from the living room, dragging Lily, her equally energetic cousin, by the hand. Mommy, can Lily sleep in my room? She grinned, her dimples deep and identical to her father's. You blinked, heart tightening at the memory that simple smile summoned Jungkook. Only if you promise not to keep chatting all night. You replied, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Sister-in-law knelt to Lily's height. Sweetheart, do you want to come with us? We'll come back in a few days. But Lily clung tighter to June's arm. No, I wanna stay with Aunt and June. Natalie sighed and looked at you. It's okay, Onni. She doesn't have school and let them enjoy together. She nodded and held your hand gently. I don't want to leave you in this condition. If that work didn't come, Nee, I'll be fine, and you'll be back before my delivery date, so there's no problem. Go safely, we'll be waiting. Your brother patted your head gently. If anything feels wrong, just call me. You smiled and nodded. Go, really, we'll be okay. They left after warm hugs and reminders. The house grew peaceful, filled only with the giggles of little girls playing with dolls and puzzles in the living room. Settled into the couch, wrapping a soft throw around your legs, the baby kicked slightly as if reminding you of their presence. Your hand instinctively rubbed your belly, your mind drifting to him, John Jungkook. The name echoed like a soft ache in your chest. You had taken leave from your assistant creative director job at his company 3 months ago, both for the pregnancy and for space. He never objected, he couldn't. You never gave him the chance to ask why. You still remembered the last night you shared. It was quiet, tender. You were 2 months pregnant then. You didn't know, neither did he. When his mother told you directly, face frozen with disapproval. You were never one of us. It wasn't a shock. Her hostility had always been subtle but sharp. You had tried, God, how you tried, for Jungkook, for Jiun. But family matters in their world were complex. His mother's bitterness wasn't entirely hatred, it was fear. Fear of the world, seeing her perfect son marrying someone from a simpler life. Her fear had a loud voice, and you realized something. If you stayed, Jungkook would forever be torn between the woman he loved and the family who raised him. So you made the hardest decision of your life. I won't let you go, Jungkook had pleaded that night, eyes wide with betrayal and desperation. You had kissed his forehead, saying, You don't have to, I'll go myself. You never told him about the baby because if he knew, he would have left everything behind. You knew that he loved fiercely, but this time you couldn't let him make that sacrifice, not again, and so you walked away, pregnant, heartbroken, still in love. Jion's voice suddenly pulled you back from the tide of memories. Mommy, can we have ice cream after lunch? You blinked and smiled, brushing away the moisture from the corner of your eye. Of course, baby, but only if you help me clean up afterward. She giggled and nodded. Deal. She skipped away to join Lily in the playroom, but her next words made your hands still. Lily, do you know what? My daddy is the best in the world. Chest clenched. He brings me candies when I visit him, and once he gave me this pretty hairband with stars on it. He said I look like the moon in it. Your eyes started filling up. Mommy doesn't let me see him a lot, but I know he loves me. I wait for him every Saturday. I count the days. Lily asked something in a whisper, but Jion's next sentence shattered you. When the baby comes, I'll tell daddy to come live with us. Then mommy won't cry when she thinks I'm not king. You had no idea she saw those moments. You had no idea she noticed your aching silences. She was only 5 but loved me children wise. And though you kept telling yourself this was better, that it was safer this way, a part of you broke, knowing your daughter waited for something that might never fully be hers. Jungkook knew you were pregnant, and though he wasn't around every day, he called, checked in, offered help, but none of it filled the space he left in Jiun's heart or yours. He was always gentle, always present when Jiun was born. He hadn't left her side for a second. He held her like she was made of stardust. You took a shaky breath. Just then, a sharp pain hit your lower belly. You gasped, hands gripping the cushion. Not now, not alone. Another contraction, sharp and unforgiving. The girls heard your sound and rushed over. Auntie, what happened? Are you okay? Mommy, Jun's voice shook. Are you okay? Is the baby coming out? You bit your lip, trying to keep calm. Sweetheart, call uncle. Her phone was just out of reach on the side table. She didn't hesitate. She scrambled up and grabbed it, unlocking it with ease. She went to your favorites, but instead of calling Yoongi, she looked for her father's number. He was still there, first on the list, John Jungkook. She hit call. He picked up immediately. Princess. His voice was warm, familiar. Daddy. Her voice cracked. Mommy's not okay. She's holding her tummy and she's sweating, and I think the baby's coming. There was a sharp inhale on the other end. I'm coming, he said, already moving. Don't let mommy lie down alone. Keep her sitting up, okay? Is your uncle and aunt there? No, they left a while ago. Lily is here, but she's scared too. It's okay, baby, I'll be there. 10 minutes. Just stay with mommy. Be strong for her. Tears pricked your eyes as you watched your daughter speak to the one man you once ran from, but who somehow still stayed. You managed a nod, whispering, Good girl. She leaned close and kissed your cheek. Don't be scared, mommy. Daddy always comes. And you know it was true. The pain came in waves now, sharp, relentless, each one stealing your breath and leaving you trembling. The living room blurred before your eyes, a haze of colors and worried faces. June held her hand tightly, her small fingers damp with panic. Lily hovered nearby, frozen between fear and confusion. Your water had broken. Everything was happening too fast. Your heart pounded as another contraction ripped through your body, and you cried out despite yourself, tears streaming down your cheeks, mixing with sweat. The front door slammed open. Ryan. He was already running inside, his hair windswept, shoes forgotten at the door. He dropped to his knees beside you in seconds, eyes wide with alarm. You had never seen that look on his face. Your heart cried seeing him. It felt like your existence came back. I'm here, baby, I got you. His hands cupped your face, wiping the wet strands of hair from your forehead as you whimpered in his arms. His eyes darted down your soaked clothes, the trembling in your legs, your fists clenched in agony. His heart shattered. God, Ryan. He breathed. Why didn't you call me sooner? You couldn't speak. Another wave of panic crashed over you. June was crying now, her eyes wide with terror. Lily clung to her, whispering something you couldn't hear. Appa, is mommy gonna die? June choked out. Jungkook's heart broke all over again. He turned to the girls, his voice gentler than you had ever heard. No, mommy is strong, okay? She's just bringing your baby sibling to us. Everything is going to be okay, I promise. He scooped you up into his arms without a second thought. Your body was heavy with pain, but he carried you as if you weighed nothing. Urgent, careful, and desperate. Girls, grab the hospital bag. It's in mommy's room. By the dresser. Hurry. The girls ran without question. Jungkook's jaw was tight, his eyes glistening. He pressed a kiss to your forehead as he carried you out to the car, whispering, Hold on, just a little longer. You're not doing this alone. Inside the car, the silence was filled only with your labored breathing and the low hum of James' voice in the back seat, holding your hand tightly. Mommy, don't cry. Daddy's here now. You looked at Jungkook through the blur of pain and tears. He gripped the steering wheel like his life depended on it, glancing at you every few seconds, fear etched into every line of his face. He wasn't just a man rushing his ex to the hospital. He was a father, a man who never stopped loving you, and he was terrified of losing you again, this time for real. The hospital room was a blur of white and beeping machines. Nurses moved swiftly around you, but all you could see was him, Jungkook, by your side, holding your hand with both of his, grounding you in the storm of pain. You had never seen him this way before. Silent tears streamed down his face as he whispered soothing words through clenched teeth. Every scream, every cry that tore from your throat sliced into him like glass. He wouldn't let go, not even for a second. Jungkook. His name was the only thing that broke through your lips in that pain. I'm here, love. Stay strong. I love you. I love you so much. And those words, so simple, so pure, they broke you open more than any pain your body endured. Your chest ached in a way that had nothing to do with childbirth. This man who had every right to turn cold, to walk away, to move on. This man who you pushed away out of fear and family pressure, who you left behind in hopes of giving your child a quieter life. He never stopped loving you. He respected your decision, yes. Never fought you when you chose to walk alone. But he never truly left. He was there in every doctor visit, in every fevered night with June, in every school event where he stood in the back just in case she looked for him. He never asked for a second chance, but he lived like he already had one. He never stepped back from his duties, not as a father, not as the man who once promised to protect you through every storm. And now here he was, or vulnerable, trembling beside you like he was the one giving birth. Nurse called out again, louder this time. One last push. We can see the head. Jungkook kissed your forehead. You're almost there, baby. Just a little more. I've got you, always. You squeezed his hand with everything you had left, not just from pain, but from love, from years of holding it all in. You cried his name again when the pain comes like a crashing wave, and this time you heard him cry too, a sob he couldn't hold in, one he buried into your hair as he whispered, come on, love, you can do this. Our baby's waiting for you. And then the world stopped. The cry rang out, a sharp, shuddering cry that shattered every silence and filled the room with the loudest kind of peace. Your baby was here. A boy, pink, screaming, beautiful. You couldn't see clearly through the blur of exhaustion and tears, but when they handed him to Jungkook, you saw something you would never forget. He stood frozen, arms out like he didn't dare touch something so precious. Then, gently as though he was holding the very heart of the universe, he cradled his son, and he broke. You are here, he whispers, lips trembling. You are real, and so perfect. Just like your sister, just like your mom. You reached out vaguely, and he was already by your side, lowering the baby into your arms with reverence. He's ours. He said quietly. You did it, love. You brought him into the world, and I've never been more proud of you in my life. You stared at your son, his tiny fist clenched, his face slowly relaxing in your arms. And then you looked at Jungkook. No words were needed anymore, because even after everything, he was still yours, and deep down, you always belonged to him too. Inside the delivery room, Lily paced nervously while June sat in her Uncle Yoongi's lap, holding onto his shirt with teary eyes. Natalie wrapped an arm around Lily, soothing her, though she herself looked just as shaken. Yoongi had turned the car around the moment Lily called. There was no question. Who called Jungkook? Yoongi asked Jiun. I called him. I didn't know what to know. I knew Appa will make everything right. Yoongi's heart melted. He kissed the top of her head. You did a great job, Angel. June got up and pressed her face against the glass, watching as her daddy held the tiny baby close to her mommy. Her smile stretched wide. "He's here," she said, beaming. "My little brother is here." Yoongi stared through the glass, silent. Natalie squeezed his hand. None of them spoke because the sight said everything. Even when the world falls apart, love finds a way to hold it all together again. There was a quiet knock on the door. Before you could respond, it burst open just slightly and Lily's small face peeked in. Her eyes were still puffy from crying and her tiny hand clutched Jiun. Behind them stood Yoongi, his expression unreadable, sharp eyes scanning you from head to toe and then shifting to Jungkook, who didn't move an inch, not even when Yoongi stepped inside. Natalie followed, her face flushed and her mascara smudged from what was clearly an emotional ride back from the airport. She looked like she wanted to run and hug you, but something in the air stopped her. It was the sight of him, Jungkook, still there, still beside you, still looking at you like you were the only thing that had even made sense. "Uncle Yoongi," June whispered, walking in with Lily. "Mommy had the baby." Yoongi's shoulders finally dropped. He strode forward slowly, his lips parting in disbelief as his gaze landed on the tiny bundle in your arms. The silence cracked just a bit when he breathed out. "Is he okay?" You nodded. Your voice soft and fragile. "He's perfect." "And you?" His voice shook. You blinked rapidly. "Tired, but okay." He didn't speak again, but you could see it in his eyes. The panic, the helplessness, the guilt of not being there. Natalie stepped up next, brushing a tear from your cheek and gently adjusting your blanket like a sister. Then Lily gasped, her small hand clapping over her mouth as she tiptoed towards you. "He's tiny," she whispered, "like a marshmallow." June giggled beside her. "He has mommy's lips." And you saw it, how their eyes immediately softened when they saw Jungkook. Holding your hand, Yoongi looked at you, and in that silent, knowing stare, you read it all, the apology, the worry, the realization that even after everything, even after the distance and heartbreak, Jungkook had never let go. He had stood in the gap where no one else could. He had protected your daughter, he had answered the call, he had wiped your tears, and he had held your son. The air shifted. Yoongi took a slow step forward. "Thank you for being with her." Jungkook didn't answer right away. He looked at you. He looked at Jiyoon, curled against your side, her small hand resting on your arm. He looked at the newborn sleeping peacefully in his arms now. Then he said softly, without pride, without expectation, just truth. "There's nothing to thank me for. I was with my family. I didn't do anything unusual. It's my duty to make sure they're okay." And that broke you. Tears spilled from your eyes, not the sudden kind, but the kind that come from too much love buried under too much pain, from months, years of pretending you were fine, when in reality your heart had never stopped reaching for his. It was too much being away from him, when you knew he loved you in a way no one ever could. He stayed even after you let go. The silence cracked again. When June looked up at you, her little voice trembling, "Mommy, can we live together now?" Her eyes, glassy and pleading, turned to Jungkook. "I don't want our family to be like this anymore. I miss Appa all the time." She sniffled, her voice breaking. "And it's not fair. My baby brother shouldn't have to meet Appa only on weekends. He should see him every day, like me." You swallowed hard, the lump in your throat burning. Natalie moved to your side and gently placed her hand on your shoulder. "Ryan, sometimes you think you are doing the right thing by letting go, but what if staying, what if holding on is the braver thing to do?" Yoongi nodded quietly, eyes still on Jungkook. He didn't just stay, he never moved on, and he never made you feel guilty of your choice. That says everything. Jungkook finally spoke again, his voice lower this time, close to breaking. "I left that place long ago, Ryan. Do you really think I would stay in a place that was breaking you? A family that made you choose between your peace and me?" His eyes locked on yours. "I have been tired of pretending to be okay, of missing you in silence, of hugging my daughter goodbye at the door, of wondering if my son would grow up not knowing the way I smile when I hold him." He took a step closer, his voice trembling. But even now, I'll wait. If you're not ready, I'll wait because you are it for me. Always have been, always will be. You let out a shaky breath, your eyes locked with his, and for the first time in a long time, you let yourself want. You wanted this, not the quiet ache of distance, not the fractured family split by choices made under pressure. Wanted his warmth, his love, the way June leaned on his shoulder like he was her whole world, the way her son stilled in his arms as if he already knew he was safe there. I don't want to be away from you anymore. You whispered, voice thick with tears. I've spent enough nights pretending I don't miss you. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. June gasped and burst into happy sobs, crawling into Jungkook's lap as he held her with one arm and your son with the other. We're all gonna live together, she cried. Really? Like before? You reached forward, wrapping your arms around them, and Jungkook leaned in to press his forehead against yours. No, he murmured with a tearful smile, better than before. And in that moment, in a crowded hospital room full of tears, laughter, and the sound of your daughter's joyful cries, you realized something. Love doesn't ask for permission, it just stays. And sometimes, when the heart is brave enough, it finds its way back home.